that in their cover feature, they actually screw you over in such dramatic fashion that you may end up being stripped of your royal title. That is just what's happened overnight.
It is really hard with her and her, I would say, lack of brand clarity.
Oh, all right, I've had enough. Clapping for herself. That last part was on brand.
It makes you sound like really kind of into yourself in a way. I am sorry, but, and genuinely, I don't even mean to attack her. There was something frustrating about her, and I think he hits me up.
That you're trying to hang out with, and you're hanging out with the Kardashians, you're hanging out with people who have like sex tapes and show their vaginas on camera. You could be British royalty right now.
Why would you do that? That's not necessary.
She insists on being called or introduced to an empty room as Duchess of Sussex. Meghan Markle sold her soul to the devil to get a cover, not on Vogue, which is the one that she wanted, but on Harper's Bazaar. Oh, bizarre.
It's like she's playing a human being, like it's a performance.
When you first read it, you think, oh my God, they've just run all this sycophantic stuff about letting the dough rise and turning up and showing up and being authentic.
It sounds fake because they fear something.
It's her trying to look glamorous and dewy, the big eyes, the hand on her chin, the slow head turn. Oh, on the couch, on the settee, with the silk dress, staring into the camera like an ingenue, like an innocent.
What's going on here? This is weird. If you don't like her, it's not your fault. It's because she's extremely unlikable, okay? She has the non-it factor.
Meghan and the girls assemble for a group photo. Some girls look straight at the camera, others squint and stare off to the side, an attempt maybe to stave off self-consciousness, or maybe they just didn't want to be there in a photo with Meghan Markle.
Wow, that really is just so insane. I just never thought that my life would ever end up here. She kind of sold her soul to the devil. Obviously, she's always wanted to be an A-list actress. She never wanted to be a princess. I called that from the very beginning. She wanted to be amongst the A-list because that was her life.
Meghan would show a lot of humility and make herself more likable to actually acknowledge some specific mistakes and some things that she has learned. Even if it was, I learned to be more careful about what I say about people and about family members because the Oprah interview, that was a mistake.
I'm searching for something to like about her, and it's so hard.
The moment Harper's Bazaar dropped Meghan Markle's new cover, the internet just exploded. And not the way her PR team imagined. Oh no, it went downhill fast. This was supposed to be Meghan's grand return, her glittering comeback, a glossy, glamorous reboot to make everyone gasp. Wow, she's back. But instead, what people said was, what happened? Because the photos weren't bold, they were bizarre. The styling, off. The energy, flat. Meghan's face looked empty, not empowered. Like she was trying to pose confidence but forgot what it feels like. The whole shoot gave off this unsettling vibe, not a woman reinventing herself, but one desperately pretending she already had. It was all effort, no ease. Every frame whispered insecurity. And then came the interview. Oh, that interview. The writer went overboard, describing Meghan like she was making a royal entrance to some grand palace. But it wasn't a palace. It was just Meghan Markle sitting in a restaurant pretending to be mysterious under soft lights, yet every line painted her as this tragic queen without a crown. And tucked halfway through the article was one tiny, shiny bombshell that changed everything, a detail Meghan probably thought no one would notice. She walked into a friend's townhouse in New York, and the house manager announced her like royalty. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, in a private home, with basically no one there. That single moment exposed what Meghan's been trying to hide all along. She might have left the royal family, but she never left the royal fantasy. This wasn't a comeback, it was a confession. She can't let that Duchess title go. And the internet noticed hard. Confused reactions, mocking memes, sarcastic tweets. But the real fire? It came when Candace Owens entered the chat. Candace didn't sugarcoat a thing. She didn't play nice. She said what everyone else was tiptoeing around. Why does she need to be announced like that? Duchess of Sussex, who even is that? Candace called the Harper's Bazaar piece exactly what it was, a PR disaster. Not because Meghan looked bad, though she did. Not because the writing was melodramatic, though it was. But because Meghan has turned herself into someone people just can't take seriously anymore. Candace tore through the illusion, pointing out that Meghan talks like a world leader but doesn't have the receipts to match. There are no achievements, Candace snapped. At 44 or 50, whatever she is, her only achievement is a bad photo spread and a wickless candle. And then, Candace went after something millions felt but couldn't put into words: Meghan's one-sided fairy tale marriage. Every time Meghan talks about Harry, it's what he does for her. He protects me. He loves me deeply. He holds me. He sees what I don't. But never once does she say, I love him. Candace laughed. It doesn't sound like a marriage, it sounds like a shield. And that's why her reaction hits so hard. Candace didn't attack Meghan as a woman. She attacked the performance, the constant acting. This isn't empowering, Candace said. It's embarrassing. Because when you strip away the fancy lighting and flowery words, you're left with a woman desperate to look important and failing. Candace's rant went viral overnight. People flooded back to the Bazaar photos, looking closer this time, and they couldn't believe what they saw. This isn't glamour, someone wrote. It's performance art. And bad performance art. The shots were overposed and confusing. Meghan hugging herself on the floor like she's in a perfume commercial. Blankly staring at the camera as if she just remembered she left the oven on. Wrapped in huge coats like a detective from a low-budget Netflix thriller. Everything felt awkward. Not artistic awkward. Someone commented, "I thought this was AI." Another said, "She looks like she's trying to be Princess Diana," and failing miserably. And that's when the internet caught the pattern. Those photos weren't just randomly bad, they were Diana cosplay. Same poses, same camera angles, same soft melancholy lighting. But where Diana looked natural, Meghan looked stiff like a tribute act who forgot the emotion behind the icon. "She's taking stalking to a new level," one tweet said. "She looks like she's auditioning for a movie about Diana," and the director said no. And it didn't stop there. The more people looked, the worse it got. Because instead of looking like a rebirth, it looked like an identity crisis. Every pose seemed rehearsed, every expression calculated, nothing felt real. Even the little details people usually ignore started to mock her. The oversized coats, the soft-focus camera filters, the sad eyebrow lift, all of it felt like someone trying too hard to look deep. And then came the interview quotes about Harry. If the photos were bad, the words were worse. Every sentence was a monologue about how he adores her, how he lifts her up, how he sees things she can't. But never, not once did she speak about what she feels for him. It was like listening to someone describe a bodyguard, not a husband. "She won the multi-billion-dollar lottery ticket and squandered it," Candace said coldly. "She's got this huge platform and nothing to show for it." And it's true. When Meghan spoke, it was about Harry's devotion, not their connection. It wasn't we, it was he. He protects, he loves, he watches. She just receives. Then she said the line that made everyone freeze. "Harry sees media? I wouldn't. Innocent? Maybe until you remember that Harry has admitted he's obsessed with media criticism. He spirals over it. He reads everything." So what she accidentally revealed was that he carries the stress and she benefits from it. It made him look fragile and her detached. People online began saying, "She talks about him like a child who needs guidance." And honestly, they weren't wrong. Then someone noticed something chilling the way Harry looked in recent photos. Slouched, drained, defeated. "The man looks like a shell," one comment read. And suddenly everyone was seeing the same thing. The dynamic felt off. Candace didn't just criticize Meghan. She dismantled her entire brand calmly, surgically, brutally honest. She said, "This behavior shows exactly why William will one day strip those titles away, and when that happens, Meghan won't have an identity left to sell." The internet agreed. Because once that illusion of royalty in America breaks, there's nothing left behind it. No career, no projects, no legacy. The whole feature exposed how Meghan has built her image on one fragile thing, pretending to be what she's not. Candace took it even further. She mocked the whole Duchess performance, pointing out how out of touch it all seemed. "An American citizen using a foreign royal title for attention?" she said. "It's embarrassing. It's not confidence, it's insecurity in a tiara." And when Candace said that, people clapped. Because that's what everyone had been thinking, but no one said aloud. Then came the next blow, the fear of failure quote from the interview. Meghan told the journalist, "You learn not to do it again." But as Candace dryly pointed out, Meghan keeps doing it again, over and over. Another dramatic interview, another pity monologue, another glossy attempt to control a story that's already slipping away. The memes got meaner, the comments got louder. Across TikTok and YouTube, people repeated the same line, "Make it stop." And Candace, being Candace, didn't let up. She called Meghan's behavior the definition of delusion, saying it's what happens when someone believes their own PR more than reality. Once people realize you're not being straight with them, Candace said, trust is lost in buckets. And that's exactly what happened. The trust, the sympathy, the curiosity people once had, it evaporated. For years, Meghan's team had tried to frame her as misunderstood, mistreated, and magnanimous. But now, after this interview, she looked like something much worse out of touch. Candace's final take was a knockout punch. She said, "When you start doing things like pretending you're the world's most passionate jam maker and you don't even know how to use jam tongs, people stop believing everything else too." It was vicious. But it was true. Meghan's obsession with optics, the perfect image, the perfect lighting, the perfect narrative had backfired completely. Because no one bought it anymore. Not after this. After the memes, the mockery, and the criticism, one thing stood out: Candace's voice. Unlike the tabloids or gossip blogs, she didn't treat it like entertainment. She treated it like a wake-up call. "This isn't a royal scandal," she said. "It's a reality check." And she was right. Because Meghan wasn't acting like a public figure, she was acting like a character. Every sentence sounded rehearsed, every emotion seemed curated, every "I've learned and grown" moment was drenched in self-importance. Even when she was supposed to sound humble, it came off as bragging. "If you overwork the dough, it won't rise," she said in the interview, trying to sound wise. But people just laughed. "Thank God she was freed from the British royal family," Candace mocked, "so she could give us this deep advice about bread dough." It became meme gold. Every time Meghan tried to sound profound, the internet found a new punchline. And then Candace said something that stung deeply because it was true. Americans don't care about royal fantasies, she said. They care about authenticity, humility, honesty. What they don't care for is a celebrity pretending to be a queen. That line hit hard. Because that's exactly what the Harper's Bazaar interview was, a performance pretending to be empowerment. Candace pointed it out perfectly. This isn't confidence. This is insecurity wearing confidence as a mask, and the internet agreed. Every repost, every clip, every tweet echoed the same thought: Meghan Markle is out of touch with reality. By then, it wasn't just critics saying it. Even former fans were done. People who used to defend her online were now saying, she's exhausting. And then came Candace's most viral moment when she laughed and said, I try to like her, I really do. But she suffers from a rare disorder, she can't just be human. That line blew up, millions of views, thousands of stitches, because that's what everyone felt. Meghan's biggest flaw isn't her ambition, it's her inability to be real. Candace kept going with biting humor. I wish she'd hire Taylor Swift's marketing team. At least they know how to make people like you. And then the crowd-pleasing line, all Meghan has to do is be a person. Just wake up, messy hair, pick up your kids, smile. But instead, she's giving us a rom-com trailer every time she speaks. People couldn't stop laughing and agreeing. Because that's exactly what the Harper's Bazaar spread looked like, a trailer for a movie that doesn't exist. The dreamy music, the slow poses, the overly dramatic tone, all pretending to show depth, but really showing detachment. Candace ended her segment with the perfect mic drop. If you don't like her, it's not your fault, she's just unlikable. She's mastered the art of being fake. And that's when it hit everyone. Meghan didn't just lose the public sympathy, she lost their attention. The Meghan Markle show had officially run out of audience applause. Because for all her talk about new chapters and fresh starts, the Harper's Bazaar interview wasn't rebirth, it was repetition. The same story, the same victim narrative, the same desperate need for validation. Candace Owens simply said out loud what the world had already decided: the illusion's broken, and there's no crown big enough to fix it. So as the dust settled and the internet moved on, one thing was clear: this wasn't Meghan's moment of redemption, it was her moment of realization. That no matter how much she rebrands, retells, or repackages, the world has stopped buying her story. And that's the one thing Meghan Markle can't control: perception. Because once you lose that, you can't pose your way back into it.